Hundreds of students, some as young as 5, resume every school day at the Future Prowess Islamic Foundation schools in Maiduguri, capital of Borno State in Nigeria. These students see their academic activities beyond personal development, but as a weapon to fight insurgency in the larger Northeast region. It is a message they have imbibed from their teachers, who have risked it all to teach the students despite threats from Boko Haram, the jihadist group trying to create an Islamic state in Nigeria.
Our mission is to make these children their orphans and less privileged, instead of them going roaming and raising up without education. So we also joined hands to help them, because with gun we can kill terrorists, but with education we can kill terrorism.
Since 2009, Boko Haram has waged war against Western education, which it considers taboo, by attacking students and teachers and bombing schools. The sect had destroyed over 2,500 primary and secondary schools, killed over 35,000 people, including 611 teachers, and displaced over 2.5 million others, including 19,000 teachers in the region, especially in Borno State. While the intensity of the insurgency has reduced since 2017, the scars of the war are everywhere in Borno and permanently etched in the hearts of its most bruised victims. These include children who became orphans due to the war, and thousands of others forced out of school in Borno, a state that had always had one of the highest poverty and illiteracy rates in Nigeria.
I am in Future Prowess Academy, member of SS3 Arts. My father died since 2008. We are 6. We are all female, and it's our mother that used to take care of us. She brought up us to Future Prowess. She got an admission. All of us, we are in Future Prowess people.
My name is Mustafa Abukar. I am in GSS 3. I could remember it was early morning of Monday 2014. We finished praying our early morning prayers. We had gunshot. Then my father called all of us to his room. We thought it was soldiers. Then, but few minutes later, 3 strangers came into our house with guns and pushed us outside. They told my parents to stay back and tell us to go in. As we were about to leave, we had gunshot. As we were turned back, but my parents were murdered. After that, we saw several people leaving the town in confusion and haste. Myself and my sister and my younger brother, we saw people leaving the town in confusion. And then we trekked from Bama to Kondiga, that is 25 miles in one day. Then from Kondiga, we met someone to transport us to the Maiduguri. And we come to Maiduguri, we meet our uncle, and he took us to our grandmother's house. Then our grandmother, she had dairy school for the orphans and the vulnerable children. And she took me to the Future Prowess Islamic Foundation School, the way that I started my primary school. In 2014, I finished my primary school 2019 in the Future Prowess Islamic Foundation. But now I am in GSS 3 in Future Prowess Academy Community and Secondary School.
At the Future Prowess Islamic Foundation, which has 3 primary schools and 1 secondary school, is where hundreds of these kids find hope for the future. Thanks to one barrister, Zana Mustafa, who resigned from his legal profession in 2007 to start the foundation to provide free education to orphans and vulnerable children.
In 2007, when I started this program, what I felt at that period in time was, I'm sending my children to school. Which type of school? What type of schools are they going to? Am I, as a trained grade 2 teacher, as a lawyer, I felt I can also equally afford to give my education the best, my children the best of education. And then, the motivation behind that was that I want to train at least 36 orphans. Out of the training I got as a legal practitioner, I have had enough and felt I can train these children to get to a reasonable level at the university, or to see that they have completed their universities.
Barely 2 years after Mr. Mustafa started his foundation, Boko Haram became a full-blown terrorist organization, killing parents and making their kids orphans. Mustafa felt the need to help, so he sought donor support and expanded his 2-classroom primary school to accommodate more orphans and kids dropping out of destroyed schools. The foundation has since expanded further, now having 3 primary schools and 1 secondary section, all providing free education to about 2,000 kids. Mustafa also supports widows and other women gravely affected by the insurgency. He has a 6-hectare agricultural land in Maiduguri. He gives portions to the women to farm on. His foundation also created a cooperative society that trains widows and other affected women in different skill sets and empowers them for independent livelihood.
We partner with UNHCR, where about 540 of the mothers of these children were trained in different skills, at least to help themselves, while the school is trying to provide educational support to their own children. We brought the widows, the mothers of these children, under one umbrella, and we form an association called Future Prowess Widows Cooperative Society, where we sit at the end of the last Sunday of every month. We discuss issues. How do we help ourselves? Now, at the end of every month, we make contribution of 200 naira. Now, what we realize when I say, okay, who are those that want to go into Akara business? Who are those wants to go into Moi business? Who are those that wants to go into rice and beans business and some other business? Now, we now give them some money to start up the business. Actually, we used to give them as a loan. But along the way, as they go on, because we don't want them to misuse what is being given to them, therefore we make sure that they utilize the money, and then we forfeit and say, okay, since you have done this, you did very well, continue with this.
And my husband died around 2012. So after my husband died, I am suffer. One of my sister, I can say Fatima Stin, she come and inform me, say they have some cooperative they are doing for the widows woman. And then she's the one directing me to come for this Future Progress Cooperative. Around 2014, we started submitting for the widows women. So every month ending, we are coming to do some meeting because of the cooperative. We are widows women. How can we do to help our children, and how can we do to control our children without their fathers? The owner of this cooperative, Barrister, I can't tell anything for them, just I will thank God and thank for him. Firstly, he gave me 70,000 to go and start a market. So, Alhamdulillah, and then he joined me with some organization like Red Cross. They come and help us. He give us money to go and start our business.
But a slightly surprising feature of Mustafa's work is that the foundation admits students and widows from all sides of the divide, including children and widows of Boko Haram members, those of soldiers who died fighting the jihadists, and Christian and Muslim kids. But Mustafa insists that his reason for this unpopular inclusive approach is to reinvent a terror-free Borno State, as rejecting the kids of Boko Haram members and denying them education could lead to their radicalization in the future. However, his approach has brought him into conflict with people around him who disagree with his idea of inclusion.
In 2009, there was this insurgency of Boko Haram. And a lot of these elements were killed. Their children and wives were cast on the street. Nobody was there to identify with them. I felt if I can train 36 orphans, I can equally train orphans of the two sides of the divide. That is the Boko Haram and then the military they fight. And that is the motivation I got to open the horizon for them to include the various segments of the society.
And while the foundation supports a few students to further at the university, Mustafa is sad that his foundation does not have the financial capacity to support all the students up to the university. He hopes and prays that the foundation will someday have its own university.
It may interest you to know that in 2007, I opened the Future Pros with 36 orphans with 4 classes. But now we have 40 classes. And then the number of children and students in their SCAD is over 2,000. In fact, precisely it's 2018 as at this moment. So, and we have a plan that it may reach a period when we will be called a university. And that is one program we have in our implementation plan. Even if in our generation we don't have that, I think the generation yet unborn will also have a university called the Future Pros University.
Yet, some of his students have developed big dreams and are determined to pursue them.
I want to be a journalist in future.
I want to become a doctor because there are a lot of people that they didn't have money to take their children to the hospital. And I think if I be a doctor, I want to build a big hospital for the orphans and the vulnerable children.
In all, Mustafa, a Muslim, says he draws inspiration from his faith and spirituality to withstand challenges and keep responding to the educational problems in Borno State.
There is no other motivation other than saying of the Holy Prophet, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, where he says, "Ana wa kafilu yatim ka'atayni fil jannah," that I and a person who keeps an orphan would be like this in heaven. So that is my motivation.